Welcome to Easy English by Eddie Singh, and today we are going to have revisional assignments for CBSE board examinations, class 10 literature, question bank from board question papers. Well, Aryan, you can start one question set, begin reading the question, and if I feel essential, I'll ask you the answer. Otherwise, I will keep on giving the answers.
Start.
The ever deep did root, O Christ, that ever this should be. Yeah, slimy thing did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. Who speaks the above lines?
Yeah, these lines have been spoken by ancient mariner. They are from the poem The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and the lines have been spoken by ancient mariner. Yeah.
What does the word deep refer to? Now did it rot?
Yeah. Deep here refers to ocean. Ocean. Understand?
Yes.
Ocean. And it suggests, the next line suggests that the mariner remarks at the sudden, presence of the, creatures, microbes in seawater. The presence of microbes in seawater made the ancient mariner remark that how has the sea rotten, because evil creatures with their ugly legs were crawling on the surface of seawater. It was just because of the metaphysical sense that the mariner had upon that. Next question, please.
What do the last two lines suggest about the speaker's attitude towards nature?
Yeah, the speaker is influenced by metaphysical science, particularly the change in the color of water and the presence of microbe in seawater makes him realize that perhaps nature is taking revenge from these mariners as they have killed the bird albatross. So the seawater has turned out to be filthy and saline, and presence of microbes also suggests that there are certain changes in the condition of the sea, and that has made unfavorable to the mariners. Next.
Name the poem and the poet.
The poem is The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and the poet is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Next question, please.
Tell me, what do you do with your money? Why did the author ask Nicola this question?
Yeah, the author perhaps was surprised to know that the two children, Nicola and Jacopo, earned a lot, but they spent very little on their food and clothing. The way they, fed themselves, they ate only dry figs and brown bread. So that clearly suggests that they spent very little on their food and clothing. So certainly it was a question in the mind of the narrator, what did they do with the money? And that is the reason why he wanted to know what exactly they did with the money they earned, because they hardly spent any money on their livelihood. Next question, please.
How did the villagers help Mrs. Packletide achieve her wish to get even with Luna Bimberton?
Yeah, the villagers, arranged for, making all the, things like constructing of the platform and over a tree, and making the arrangement of a goat and tying it to the tree nearby. And they also appointed Lausa Mabin as a paid companion for, Mrs. Packletide. They constructed a platform just above the height in the tree just for the shooting of the tiger. They also appointed some of the children at the outskirts of the city just to make the tiger come into the area where they were destined to shoot the tiger. And so all the arrangements for shooting the tiger were made by the villagers. This was only with the prospect of earning 1,000 rupees given by Mrs. Packletide.
Ali had been a clever shikari. Explain.
Yeah, Ali had been a skilled shikari. The moment he saw earthen color, patches hidden in the bush, before they could be spotted by any other animal or any other people, they were in his bag. The moment he saw these birds, he caught them and kept it in his bag. He was so skilled in hunting that hunting was in his blood. Right from childhood, he had been a skilled hunter. So, Ali had been a very clever shikari. The hunting blood was from generation to generation in his body. Yes.
Why is Henry reluctant to bring the bureau into his own room?
Yeah, Henry is a little bit honest. He doesn't want that the old gentleman's Abel Mary's Weathers new bureau should be shifted to his room. But it was, consistently pressing of, Amelia Slatter. She went on asking her husband that Henry should bring the bureau into the room before Jordan's come. It was only because she was greedy and she knew that the new bureau will be divided and that will be in the part of Jordan's, and that is the reason why she wanted that the bureau of the grandfather should be shifted into her room before the Elizabeth Jordan comes and her husband come.
Highlight the main traits in the character of Mrs. Packletide, comparing her to Luna Bimberton and Lusa Mabin.
Yeah, Mrs. Packletide is a little bit vulnerable. She is not very intelligent. She comes under the influence of the people, the villagers, and decides to shoot a tiger. She is not having her own conscience about whether the tiger should be shot in that area. Actually, she is a little bit conscious about the nature and preservance. She comes under the influence of the villagers. On the contrary, Lausa Mabin is very cunning. She wants to extract extra amount from Mrs. Packletide, and that is the reason why she blackmails her. She threatens her that she would reveal the secret about the tiger shot to the guest in the party, and that's the reason why Mrs. Packletide was compelled to give her 680 extra amount, and that was only because she was threatening her to reveal the secret. This clearly suggests that Mrs. Packletide is little bit gullible and vulnerable, and on contrary to that, Lausa Mabin is a bit intelligent and she's a bit, cunning and crafty. And while comparing the other competitor, the arch rival, Luna Bimberton, we can say that Luna Bimberton is a bit, crazy. She's intelligent. She had achieved many things. And Lauser Mabin is very greedy. She is very much greedy of money. She always wants to derive material advantage from the helplessness of Mrs. Packletide. So comparing the two ladies, Luna Bimberton and Mrs. Packletide, we can say that Luna Bimberton is very much jealous of Mrs. Packletide. She didn't read the newspaper for several days just to avoid getting the photographs in the newspaper and coming to know about her achievement. On the contrary, both the ladies are the arch rivals. Both of them are jealous of each other, and they are particularly governed by the hatred between the two. And that's the reason why Mrs. Packletide wants to do something extraordinary just to show that she is better than her arch rival Luna Bimberton. Go ahead.
So there's a second extract.
Yes.
Tell that its culture well those passions red, which yet survive stamped on these lifeless things. What do lifeless things refer to?
Yeah, here lifeless things refer to the what you call it, the statue. Actually, it is from Osmedias. The poem Osmedia highlights that no architecture, no memory can perpetuate forever, and that is the reason why we see that after the death of the king Osmedias, his pride and glory couldn't survive. It couldn't last long. His statue lay broken and disfigured in the sand. This clearly suggests that no pride and glory can be permanent. It is bound to diminish in the course of time. Time is the greatest killer. So actually, this line also suggests that the sculptor who created the statue of Osmedias perhaps knew that after his death, his statue will not survive. Though he had given a live portrayal of everything, his behavior and everything, but this statue couldn't be forever. It was just diminished and destroyed by the people or by the time in the course of destruction. Yes.
How do we know that he was a good sculptor?
Yeah, he had portrayed the feelings and emotion of Osmedias, his arrogance, his authoritative nature on the lifeless stone. The way he had sculpted his statue, the way he had brought out the live portrayal of his feelings and emotion on the lifeless stone, it clearly suggests that he was a real artist and he was a renowned sculptor. He was a renowned sculptor.
How does the heart feel the passions?
Whose heart?
Sir, sculptor heart.
Yeah, actually, there are two things. Actually, he had mocked the behavior of the king Osmedia because he was arrogant. At the same time, the people's heart, not his heart. Here, heart refers to the people's heart, the citizen's heart. It was filled with hatred because he had done nothing very useful. He had done nothing very useful. So we can say that his heart was